Did you know there is an ancient kingdom that has survived all empires and invasions? While other kingdoms fell to conquerors, this small nation built its own proud walls. They call it Nepal. A land where mountains are giant walls, protecting a spirit that has never yielded to any power. But what lies behind the undying pride of the Nepalese people? The answer will take us into a world unlike any other. Nepal is a country located between India to the south and China to the north. Nepal is not just a strip of land on the map, but also a fragile border between two worlds. In just a short stretch of land, the world transforms. From steamy jungles just 200 feet above sea level to the towering summit of Everest, nearly 29,000 feet high. In this compact nation, cultures shift as swiftly as the winds. Hindu prayers rise like incense from lowland temples, while Tibetan hymns float in the majestic mountain air. Every step upward feels like crossing worlds, from the breath of the jungle to the silence of the divine. This is a land of impossible contradictions, where ancient spirits and modern calendars coexist. Even the Nepalese flag is a unique paradox. It is the only national flag in the world that does not adhere to the traditional rectangular shape. Instead, it consists of two overlapping triangles, bright red and bordered by deep blue, which are said to represent the towering Himalayan peaks, eternity, and the sacred union of heaven and earth. More than a flag, it is a powerful testament to the spirit of Nepal, a nation free to shape its identity, transcending all traditional boundaries, from geography to national symbolism. Time here flows differently and on its own terms. While the world is in the year 2025, Nepal has entered the year 2082. This is Bikram Sambat, a traditional calendar based on ancient Hindu cosmology. It is as if Nepal is ahead of its time, guided by the stars rather than the ticking of a clock. This airport is perched precariously between the Himalayan cliffs, with a short, steep runway carved into the mountainside. There is no room for error. There is only open sky, or abyss. Pilots often call it one of the most dangerous airports in the world. Yet every year, thousands of travelers still set foot on it to reach a greater aspiration, the gateway to the legendary Everest. Here, snakes are not seen as symbols of danger, but are worshipped as gods. Villagers offer milk to Nagdunga, sacred rocks believed to be incarnations of snake gods. There are lakes of such divine beauty that the air around them seems to hold its breath, because that is where the gods descend to wash. And the mountains are majestic spirits, always guarding this land. Beyond the majestic mountains, there is a still lake under the distant northern sky, its water as black as ink. Local people say that a demon was sealed at the bottom of the lake by a wandering monk. If the lake dries up one day, the demon will escape and spread terror again. Few dare to go near it, and no one is brave enough to touch the black water. There are plenty of paradoxes in Nepal, but that is natural. It is a place where time moves swiftly, but faith is deeply rooted. Here, danger blends with reverence, and the extraordinary becomes part of everyday life. Instead of stories that have faded into the past, myths in Nepal are still present and alive. Between the snow-capped slopes of the Himalayas, the Kali Gandaki Gorge appears, the deepest abyss on the planet. Deeper than the Grand Canyon and quieter than any seabed. Legend has it that it was created not only by the flow of water, but also by the tears of gods mourning a cosmic loss. The proof is that ancient marine fossils are still here, petrified thousands of meters high, as if the mountains themselves once carried an ocean of tears. In the heart of the bustling city, an embodiment of divinity remains intact, Kumari, the living goddess. A carefully selected girl, an incarnation of the goddess Durga, lives secluded in the palace, rarely leaving the threshold. Every glance of hers carries a blessing. Every move can be an ominous sign. Kumari stands there as an immortal testament to the belief that gods still exist in the world, not only in myth, but also in human form, in everyday life. In the small villages, children still whisper about Merkata, a headless ghost wandering the crossroads at dusk. Not a demon, but a lost soul, constantly searching. At the intersections, people still place flowers, burn incense, and leave a bowl of milk, a gesture of comfort, hoping that the soul will find peace on its journey to return to its full form. And in the heart of the ancient city of Patan, a lake quietly sparkles among moss-covered stone courtyards. Lake Pimbahal. At first glance, it looks like just another body of water. but legend has it that it was dug in a single night by a demon bound by a tantric monk forced to work until dawn. Even today, locals believe that if the lake dries up, the demon will rise again. Every mountain has a name, every name has a spirit, and every spirit has a tale that refuses to end. Written in stone, preserved in every breath, passed down from generation to generation without end. This land is full of living legends, not forgotten ones. Here the myths live on through every prayer, every offering, every haunting. What if a city wasn't just built for people, but also for gods, ghosts, and legends that refuse to fade? Kathmandu, the oldest city in the Himalaya. Where every alleyway leads to a shrine, and every stone has whispered the same prayers for centuries. At its center lies Kathmandu Durbar Square, a living relic of the Malla dynasty and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Here, centuries-old palaces tilt toward the heavens, and devotion flows through every sound, scent, and step of the living city. From the crack of dawn, pilgrims flocked in, lighting candles and praying under the ancient statues, their eyes reflecting deep faith. Doves swooped down on the temple roofs, while laughter and chanting mingled together, creating a unique symphony of spiritual and secular life. Hidden behind intricately carved windows is Kumari Gar, the residence of the living goddess. Chosen as a child, she embodies divine power, a tangible embodiment of the sacred. Locals believe that a single glance from her brings protection, prosperity, and purity. Once a year, during the Indra Jatra festival, the city transforms. Drums echo through the stone streets, masked dancers channel ancient spirits, and the Kumari, dressed in crimson and gold, is paraded on a wooden chariot. People line the streets to witness and receive the blessing. In the midst of this sacred moment, Kathmandu transformed into a space of transition, a threshold space where humans, gods, and demons walked the same path. But faith here does not belong to one name. It flows like the Bagmati River, sacred and eternal. Along its banks stands Pashupatinath Temple, one of the holiest Hindu shrines to Shiva. Smoke rises from cremation ghats, and the scent of sandalwood carries prayers to the afterlife. Death here is deeply understood, accepted, and honored. Head northwest of the city, on a hill overlooking the valley. Swayambhunath Temple, also known as the Monkey Temple, with long winding steps leading to the top, where the omniscient Buddha eyes painted on the main tower look out in all directions. Swayambhunath is a symbol of enlightenment and peace. Prayer flags flutter in the wind, carrying the wishes of millions of people. Playful monkeys glide between the shrines, creating a unique connection between nature and spirituality. Here, the ringing of temple bells blends with the chanting of monks, creating a sacred space that everyone can feel. Travel north, and you find yourself beneath the watchful gaze of Buddhanath Stupa, one of the largest Buddhist stupas in the world. Eyes painted on its tower look out in all four directions, symbolizing the omnipresence of awakened wisdom. Inside, relics of Buddha Kassapa rest, while outside, Tibetan prayer wheels spin endlessly. Turn faith into endless movement. Beyond the dazzling temples, it's the tolerance that makes Kathmandu so special. Hindu priests chant beside Buddhist monks. Pagodas and stupas stand shoulder to shoulder. Festivals cross faiths, fire, water, incense, and silence. All forms of worship find home here. As the chants and bustle of Kathmandu gradually subside, a city whose beauty lies hidden under a layer of legend sleeps deep in the rock. In Patan, artistry is devotion. Bronze, stone, and wood are embodiments of faith. Every doorframe bears the mark of legend. Every statue is a silent prayer. The artisan's hands are guided by talent and a deeper current, reverence inherited through centuries of Newar civilization. Right in the heart of Patan is Durbar Square, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Quieter than Kathmandu's Durbar Square, but the power is hidden in every brick, every carving. Golden sunlight filters through the ancient temple towers, casting long shadows on the stone courtyard. The diligent clattering of chisels echoes in the narrow alleys, blending with the distant temple bells, creating a gentle symphony of art and spirituality. Coming to Patan is like drifting in a living art museum, where every stone slab, every exquisite statue, every elaborately carved wooden window tells a story. Each work of art is a whisper from the past, the soul of artisans who have devoted their lives to dedicating their talent and devotion to the gods and the dynasty. Lurking beneath this elegant and serene beauty lies a greater mystery, a legend sealed in stone long ago. Long ago, this city was haunted by the fear of Laka, a wild demon that spread terror throughout the streets, until a tantric monk appeared with his mystical wisdom and warrior's strength and confronted it. The monk did not destroy Laka, but used mantras and an iron will to subdue him. He forced the demon to complete the excavation of Lake Pimbahal in just one night. Now they say the demon still sleeps beneath its waters. To this day, locals leave small offerings along the moss-covered edge, and though children play nearby, no one dares to touch its depths. Located about 8 miles from Kathmandu city center, Bhaktapur was the capital of the ancient Newar kingdom from the 12th century. It was the largest and most powerful of the 3 main Newar power centers, surpassing Kathmandu and Patan. Today, it remains a lasting and intact memory. Bhaktapur means city of devotees. But devotion here is not reserved for gods alone. It is found through the hands of potters still working with clay, as their ancestors did, transforming it into works of art. The scent of incense mingles with the scent of damp earth and dry barley. Here, daily life is preserved intact, far from modernization. And as everywhere in Nepal, myths are not side stories, but the core of life. Right at the gates of Bhaktapur stands a sacred stone, Nagdunga, the abode of the serpent god. Hidden inside the stone, invisible but deeply felt, is the spirit of Naga, the guardian of favorable weather, fertility, and the cycles of life. People passing by bow their heads. They offer milk, flowers, and grains, hoping to appease the spirit. For here, rain is a blessing. The snake god is pleased, and the crops will be bountiful. This is survival fused with faith, transcending mere superstition. And deep within Bhaktapur lies another sacred space, Dattatreya Square, older than even the Durbar Square. This open courtyard is home to the Dattatreya Temple, believed to be built in 1427, a majestic three-story structure made from wood from a single tree. It honors Dattatreya, a Hindu deity embodying the trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Around the square, elaborately carved wooden facades feature the faces of gods, demons, and guardians as if watching pensively. Prominent nearby is the peacock window, one of Nepal's most exquisite woodworks, a silent masterpiece created over centuries. And faith still lingers here in the half-turned prayer wheels, in the bells that ring by themselves, and in the cracked walls that still echo with devotion. At the foot of the Annapurna Range, where clouds drift like forgotten prayers and mountains seem close enough to touch, Pokhara rests in quiet splendor. Unlike the ritualistic beats of Kathmandu or the regal echoes of Bhaktapur, Pokhara is like a breath caught between realms, a place where the earth seems to pause, gazing at its own reflection. The heart of the city beats around Phua Lake, a crystal-clear expanse that reflects the sky and the eternal snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas. Every dawn, the first rays of sunlight touch the lake's surface, painting a brilliant picture where colorful wooden boats drift quietly, gently breaking the silence. And in the center of its still waters floats a small island, home to Talbarahi Temple, a two-tiered pagoda dedicated to the goddess Barahi. Locals believe that this goddess is more than a god. She is the guardian spirit of the surrounding mountains, and her presence maintains harmony between the water and the winds. Hindu devotees come to pray, creating a magical scene that seems to come from a legend. For it's said that when the mountains grow restless, their reflection in the lake vanishes first. It is a mystery of the earth, but Pokhara holds much more. Beneath the hills lies Chameri Gufa, the bat cave, hidden behind limestone mouths and heavy with darkness. Thousands of bats cling to its ceiling like a living tapestry. Thousands of bats cling to the cave ceiling like a living carpet. Sometimes they make high-pitched cries, creating a creepy and magical symphony. This image makes this place a natural maze, both scary and attractive. This is a kingdom of darkness, where life exists in a primitive and mysterious way, completely separate from the outside world of light. Nestled among the high peaks of the Himalayas, Mustang is a gateway to a kingdom sealed by time, where every wind wants to tell a 1,000-year-old mysterious story. Nestled in the shadow of the mighty Himalayas, once the lifeblood of the ancient Tibetan Empire, Mustang sits on the edge of a mysterious frontier. For centuries, it was a forgotten land, closed to the outside world, hidden from all maps and surrounded by towering mountain ranges. Its isolation has become an eternal shield, preserving intact a kingdom sealed by time. Mustang's heart is Lo Manthang, a 1,000-year-old walled capital. Seen from above, the city appears as a surreal underground structure, a maze of clay-colored walls, threaded through narrow alleys and bathed in the majesty of whitewashed Buddhist monasteries. Here, deep chants still echo through ancient halls filled with the smell of butter lamps and the breath of history. Downstream, where the Mustang valleys widen, the Muktinath Temple emerges as a sacred oasis, a crossroads of eternal faith. Despite its lower location, the temple is a vital pilgrimage destination for both Buddhists and Hindus. Here, 108 sacred bull-headed fountains pour icy water, inviting devotees to cleanse their sins. Even more magical is the eternal flame, burning from natural gas right next to the cold water, creating a unique geological and spiritual phenomenon, where fire and water, yin and yang, coexist in mystical harmony. High above the valleys, in cliffs that rise hundreds of meters, are sky caves, ancient tombs carved directly into vertical rock. Accessible only by ropes or sheer determination, these chambers hold mummified remains, relics, and inscriptions from over 2,000 years ago. Archaeologists have uncovered burial rites unseen anywhere else in the Himalayas. Skulls placed in ritual circles, offerings of bone tools, and traces of an ancient people whose beliefs blurred the line between life and afterlife. Locals speak of these caves with reverence and caution. They believe these cliffs are not just burial grounds, but gateways to the next world. When the wind whistles through Mustang's valleys, it is said to carry the voices of souls who have not yet been released. Away from the hustle and bustle of the mundane world, an eternal call echoes from afar, towards Annapurna, the sacred mountain range where the soul finds peace amid towering heights and sublime beauty. Its name means the one who nourishes. The feminine deity of abundance and sustenance in Hindu tradition. With peaks towering over 26,000 feet, Annapurna is both magnificent and merciless. The mountain range is both a giant geological formation and a vivid picture of contrasts. On the one hand, lush green hillsides, golden terraced fields, and tiny villages nestled in valleys where life moves slowly, according to the primal rhythm of nature. Winding trails lead to sparkling glaciers and rushing waterfalls, offering a majestic landscape that is enough to captivate any traveler. But on the other hand, Annapurna is a grim reminder of the sheer power of nature. Eternal, snow-capped peaks, sheer cliffs, and sudden blizzards make it one of the most challenging mountains in the world. Annapurna 1, nicknamed the Mountain of Death, has witnessed many tragedies, a testament to its indomitability. Scattered across the slopes of Annapurna are communities of Gurungs, Magars, and Sherpas. They have learned to live in harmony with the harsh environment, preserving a unique culture steeped in Buddhist and Hindu beliefs through ancient monasteries, fluttering prayer flags, and traditional rituals. With gentle smiles and hospitality, they are the keepers of tradition, recounting stories of mountain gods, of forest spirits, and of human survival in the face of nature's greatness. Annapurna is an eternal symbol of the balance between absolute beauty and uncompromising cruelty. This is also where people find themselves, face their fears, and discover their hidden strength, turning every step into a journey back to the primal nature of existence, where the soul is nurtured and the will is tempered in the shadow of the gods. It is said the world itself paused here to witness the birth of compassion. Lumbini, an architectural wonder, a sacred mountain, a garden where a single birth event marked a great turning point in the history of human thought. More than 2.5 millennia ago, under the gentle shade of a sal tree, Queen Maya Devi gave birth to Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha in Maya Devi Temple. No prophecies echoed through the heavens. No sacred fire heralded his arrival, only the rustle of leaves, the scent of the earth, and a silence so profound that it still resonates today. Visitors come here to reminisce, placing their bare hands on the stone slab stained with time, closing their eyes, feeling the breath of the past rising from within. Here, each footprint is imprinted on sacred land with absolute respect. Around the simple stone marking the Buddha's birthplace, a living mandala unfolds, not a physical wall, but a sacred circle of magnificent temples, each architecturally different, each speaking from different Buddhist countries, united in a space of faith and peace. Japan offers stillness in minimalist lines. Thailand rises with golden grace. Vietnam, Myanmar, Korea, each country brings a piece of its soul. And together they form a quiet conversation in stone, wood, and prayer. In this sacred space, each temple is a testament to the great spread of the message from Lumbini. They tell the story of awakening, of the path of renunciation of suffering, of overcoming the cycle of birth and death. It is here, among the streams of multi-ethnic, multilingual pilgrims, that one can still feel an invisible bond, connecting all hearts towards the same ideal of peace and compassion. Lumbini, therefore, is not just an archaeological site or a religious destination. It is a beacon of hope, a center of world peace, where the Buddha's teachings continue to light the way for billions of people. At the southern edge of Nepal, where the mist rises from emerald grasslands and the air tastes of rain and earth, lies Chitwan National Park, a wilderness both raw and divine. Once the royal hunting grounds of kings, it now stands as one of Asia's most celebrated wildlife sanctuaries, protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Yet beyond its conservation value, Chitwan is a realm where myth and nature breathe as one. As dawn breaks, the forest awakens to the sounds of life. Along the riverbanks, one-horned rhinos move with steady steps, reminiscent of prehistoric times. Known as the gentle giants of the Terai region, they are slow, calm, yet always exude majesty in the heart of wild nature. Meanwhile, hidden among the dense foliage, the Bengal tiger, the embodiment of ultimate power and deep mystery in the Chitwan ecosystem. For the people here, it is the living embodiment of Durga, the warrior goddess who rides a tiger into battle. When a tiger appears, it is said that Durga herself is watching and testing courage. Demanding respect, reminding humanity of its fragile place in creation. Every creature, from the smallest bird to the great Bengal tiger, performs a role in an ancient cosmic rhythm, a reminder that divinity is not distant or abstract, but alive in the pulse of the wild. If throughout the journey on the mountain peaks of Nepal we feel the sacred devotion, and the old forests offer countless mysteries, then Janakpur reminds us that there are lands born from the legend of great, eternal love. Tucked away in the southeastern Terai Plains, Janakpur is a memory wrapped in marble, a living chapter of the ancient Ramayana, the sacred Hindu epic passed down for over 2 millennia. According to legend, this is where Princess Sita was born, the divine consort of Lord Rama and an enduring symbol of purity, strength, and devotion. It was at Janakpur that Lord Rama first laid eyes on her. It was here that the sacred golden bow was drawn and a divine destiny was sealed. The union of 2 souls and the merging of 2 worlds, the mortal world and the eternal divine world. The soul of the eternal city of Janakpur converges at Janaki Mandir, a breathtaking white palace temple entirely made of marble. With its soft arches and curves, this structure tells the story of a harmonious fusion of Mughal elegance and Maithili tradition, standing tall as a symbol of love and faith. And when November arrives, Janakpur explodes into the atmosphere of Viva Panchami, a vibrant love song celebrating the marriage of Rama and Sita. The entire city turns into a giant stage where ancient rituals are reenacted, magnificent processions roll through the streets. Music reverberates, and dazzling performances bring the great love story back to life, connecting the past with the present in a joyful way. In addition to its vibrant architecture and festivals, Janakpur is also the cradle of Maithili art, especially the colorful Mithila paintings. On the walls of houses, on fabrics, stories of gods, Ramayana, and ordinary life are recreated through delicate strokes, like whispers of an ancient culture, preserving the traditional beauty through the hands of artisans. Janakpur is a living testament to love, loyalty, and cultural exchange between India and Nepal, a place where great love stories resonate forever. At an altitude where trees grow sparse and clouds drift low enough to touch, there lies a village shaped like an amphitheater, its rooftops tiered against the mountain slope, gazing upward in eternal anticipation. Namche Bazaar. Located at an altitude of more than 11,000 feet, far beyond a stop on the way to conquer Everest. This is the last breath before the climb begins, the last echo of humanity, before the world is submerged in snow, towering rocks, and the deep silence of the land where heaven and earth meet. For generations of Sherpas, these peaks have been home for centuries. They are ancestors, spirits, living gods, majestically cloaked in an eternal cloak of ice. Namche is their threshold, the place where the physical ends and the sacred begins. And within the folds of these mountains, they believe something. The Yeti. Tales of a giant hairy creature lurking in the mist-shrouded peaks have been passed down through the generations. The Sherpas believe that the Yeti is a guardian spirit of the mountains, a being that maintains the balance of nature, reminding humans of their insignificance in the vast wilderness. Though only a legend, the Yeti remains an inseparable part of the Himalayan soul, an eternal mystery hidden among the towering peaks. Yet Everest also stands as a silent witness to immense sacrifice, where life often hangs by a fragile thread. Scattered remnants of abandoned camps, fluttering prayer flags, and solemn memorials to those who never returned remind us that on this roof of the world, humanity appears small. Where the air is suffocatingly thin, rocks and ice blend into majestic silence. This is Everest, Sagarmatha, the roof of the world, a name, a legend, a great spirit with an icy breath. Challenging and redefining every limit known to man. Everest, known as Chomolungma. Mother Goddess of the World to the Sherpa and Sagarmatha, forehead of the sky to the Nepalis. It is a colossal monument of ice and stone, a natural frontier between heaven and earth. The mountain rises as a kingdom carved by glaciers, where deep valleys cradle icy rivers and granite spires pierce the azure sky. Winds sweep across vast faces of rock and snow, holding the memory of each step of conquest, where courage is tested and limits are broken. Harsh yet magnificent, Everest stands as a testament to nature's resilience, a silent reminder of the forces that shape the planet. For climbers, the journey to Everest Base Camp goes far beyond a simple trek. It becomes a profound quest of endurance and self-discovery. The Sherpa people, guardians of the mountain, approach it with deep reverence, seeing the ascent not as a conquest, but as a sacred dialogue with the spirit of the Himalayas, a plea for guidance and safe return. The vast slopes of Everest carry the echoes of countless human footsteps from the pioneering ascent of Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay in 1959-53, whose courage carved their names into history, to generations of climbers who followed, each carrying an unshakable resolve. Yet Everest also stands as a silent wit. Beyond the last whisper of any road, where the winds speak in forgotten tones, there is a place hidden in the earth called Upper Dolpo. A place so remote, so pristine, it feels more like memory than geography. Preserved in silence, wrapped in ritual, so enduring it predates the very heartbeat of history. Here, nestled between jagged Himalayan fortresses, people still live by the rhythm of the Bon tradition, a spiritual path older than Buddhism. Where the world is not divided into matter and myth, but flows as one entity. Every rock, every shadow, every glimmer of light carries a soul, and to exist in this place is to always be surrounded and protected. In Dolpo, prayers are not written on paper but etched into stone, carved with reverent hands into many walls that stretch across the landscape. Like the spine of the divine, each inscription not meant for human eyes, but for the gods of earth and sky to read as they pass. Villages cling to cliffs like forgotten dreams. Yaks tread ancestral trails worn smooth by centuries. These large animals with thick fur and majestic horns are not just livestock, they are loyal companions, the pillars of life here. Yaks carry heavy loads through high passes and deep valleys, providing rich milk, nutritious meat, and warm wool to withstand the biting cold. From the smoky breath in the thin air to the jingling bells echoing across the mountainside, yak weaves familiar sounds and images, embellishing the unique picture of life of the Dolpo people. They are the lifeblood, the breath of the plateau, quietly creating the lasting existence of a culture among the towering peaks. As you step on this sacred and sublime land, each step echoing like a question in the sacred hall, you will gradually understand. Upper Dolpo has an infinite depth, beyond the measurement of distance. This place retains its original identity, protected by a magical silence, beyond all physical barriers. This land endures thanks to the deep respect of many generations, who have maintained its vitality through endless prayer rather than mere preservation. On the windswept plateau of Langtang, where the mountains are like blades and the clouds are like divine smoke, Gosai Kunda appears below in a calm, clear state. But beneath its surface, legends tell of fire, of the cosmic poison that Lord Shiva once drank to save humanity from destruction. At over 14,100 feet above sea level, nestled in a hollow of wind and stone, Gosai Kunda shimmers like a forgotten jewel. But within its depths lives a legend older than the mountains themselves. According to sacred texts and Himalayan oral tradition, when the world was threatened by a cosmic poison during the great churning of the ocean, Samudra Manthan, Lord Shiva, the destroyer and protector, drank the venom to save all creation. To cool the fire burning within him, he struck the earth with his trident and rested at this very place. From that act of sacrifice and silence, Gosai Kunda was born, not just a lake, but a vessel of divine purification. At the foot of the towering cliffs, pilgrims still climb this sacred path, often barefoot, their chants echoing off the cliffs as a penitence, an offering of their voices in exchange for forgiveness. Some carry flasks to collect a few drops of the water. Others dive straight into the icy lake, believing that to touch this water is to be cleansed not only of sin, but of lifetimes of burden. There are no marble-carved shrines, no towering monuments around the lakeshore, just scattered mounds of stone, prayer flags fluttering like fragile flames, and a silence so thick it can be felt. Here, faith takes shape in the stillness of the lake, in the chill of the wind, and in the quiet strength of those who come seeking peace and find it within themselves. Beyond the majestic mountains and deep valleys, we are coming to the jewel of northwestern Nepal, Rara Lake. It is the largest lake in Nepal. When the first steps touch the lakeshore, another world seems to open up. The endless water surface sparkles like a giant mirror reflecting the blue sky and the drifting clouds. Around the lake, the green pine forests stretch out, exuding a cool, resinous scent, creating a charming landscape painting. Locals call it the Lake of Old Spirits. They believe that souls who have left the mortal world but still have something unfinished will come here for one last contemplation. So they can look at themselves in the still lake, remember their true selves, and then decide for themselves whether it is time to let go or not. Besides its profound spiritual legends, Rara Lake is also a natural treasure of immense biological and geological value. Located in Rara National Park, the lake is home to 3 endemic fish species and a unique frog species. It is also an important stopover for many migratory birds, making it a paradise for bird lovers. One of the most magical things about Rara is its ability to constantly change color. From brilliant jade green to deep blue, then to mysterious purple, depending on the light and season, creating a constantly changing scene. Due to its remote location and relatively difficult access, Rara Lake remains wild and intact, providing an absolutely peaceful space, where the only noise is the rustling of the wind through the pine forest, the chirping of birds, or the gentle lapping of waves on the shore. So Nepal is not just a country, it is a journey through time, where the mountain peaks touch the blue sky and the human soul touches the depths of faith, leaving in every traveler an indelible mark of grandeur and peace. Thank you for joining us on this journey to Nepal today.